I'd like to know if these stories should last a certain amount of time, certain amount of minutes.
It depends really on the context. I gave the example of a long interview answer and a short interview answer and a resume answer. And those were guidelines, because if you have an impatient interviewer, or you have an interviewer and you both have short period of time for whatever reason, you've got to be giving more brief versions of your stories.
Mm-hmm.
If, however, it's over a luncheon or something, you've got time. A resume, the story is best moved to something that's maybe 2 to as many as 5 lines long. And if it's important, you're going to take all 5 lines. If it's less important, if it's not a characteristic that you think is extremely relevant, then you're going to do it as a 2-line item on your resume. So I wish I could give you a guideline, but the best thing you can do is be able to tell the story. And then when you do that, you'll have mastered the details, and then you can arbitrarily time yourself for a 15-second version or a 1.5-minute version. But you don't have to walk into any networking meeting or interview assuming, unless you know that's only 15 minutes long, assuming that one length or another is right. And it may turn out that they're interested in something that you didn't know they were interested in, so you could have planned in the interview to give a shorter version of something, and you realize that your negotiation skills are not just a sideline here. They're important for being able to work with the accounting department. Who would have thought? But you learn that in the interview, and you give a longer version of the story where you negotiated with accounting and got something done. I negotiated with accounting once and got with Goldman Sachs controller's office and got them to concede some stuff for the people internal client I was working with. So there I've just told you a story in less than a line on a resume, and I bet some of you would like to know how that turned out. So you can do it pretty quickly if you need.
If you have 15 seconds, is it a pitch or is it a story?
It's a story. A pitch is pushing and trying to attack. A story is passive and it encourages them to engage. They reach out and engage.
So if it's like, instead of an elevator pitch, it's an elevator story.
Yeah.
You have to gauge what to tell in a very quick way.
Yeah. So well, that's one of the modules. So the other modules that where we focus on story is the pitch module, introducing yourself, your story, individual stories, which is mostly what we do in the interview thing, because the interview is assumed to be they ask questions, you answer questions. You walk into an interview, you have got all your answers prepared because all of your answers will point to a story. Well, that reminds me of a time when, and you begin your story. And there's more to it than that. And then the resume is the third one, where you're taking these stories and reducing them down to 2 to 5 lines so that you can get across what you need to in your resume and get them engaged in your resume and not have it be stultifyingly boring, as most resumes are.